How will I start this video? I think I'll start this by going into the bathroom and turning on the tap. How's it going? I'm Shida and I've been a little bit sick the last couple of days. The fog is coming. No, it's here already. In your brain, no, you can't see it, but you can't think of anything else right now either, can you? So yeah, I've been in a bit of a haze. It's quite fascinating, quite difficult to observe. This one's going to be quite the confessional piece. I'm going to be talking about myself a lot. Less creating, more sort of exploring something. Well, that one fizzled out before I could even get it into a coherent sentence. I'm just very scattered. And I think when I get sick, obviously I get more scattered because I'm not functioning at full capacity. So I had to spend a lot more energy just like holding my body together. And that's energy that was previously going into holding my mind together, so the mind gets a little bit, shall we say, left by the wayside. It's a dangerous state to be in, this fog, because although it's true that sometimes I can still function, like I can still remember obligations and deadlines and such that I have to keep up with, at least to roughly the same ability that I always do, I don't feel like it's me that's doing the remembering. Like I'm just kind of floating around. And there's some other part of my body that is like deciding what to do and what to get up to. It's quite dissociative. Of course, another problem with me is that I don't always articulate my thoughts out loud. It's sort of a half and half. Like half of it I say in my mind, half of it I say with my mouth. And sometimes it's a little bit difficult for me to like mentally distinguish between the two. Because in my head, they've both been said, haven't they? Sometimes I respond to a message in my head and I think, yeah, I've responded to that message now, I don't need to worry about it. It certainly wouldn't be a surprise if I was ever diagnosed with ADHD. The problem is it's an executive function disorder and getting a diagnosis for anything requires a lot of executive function. It's kind of a vicious cycle. But as with all these things, it's something that I will eventually muster together the energy to get up and do. Perhaps next year. Perhaps that can be a New Year's resolution for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's very strange to feel so fuzzy, so distant a lot of the time. I wonder if much of it is still gender dysphoria. It's certainly something I still suffer from. I suppose I can talk about some more plans for the channel, can't I? Well, hello. Here's a Harness V1. I'll throw you onto screen now. There's some very strange quirks with this model. The armature is set up a little bit weirdly, so if I move this piece right here, it kind of... stuff gets a little messed up. And I think I might have an idea of how to make it not do that, but it's just a matter of going in and fixing it. Oh, also if I move any parts of the body too far away from its origin, then you get these weird sticky outy bits, which I do also know what those are. Those are weight painting glitches, but it's another thing. Haven't gotten around to this, haven't gotten around to that. Where was I going? Well, there goes that train of thought again. It's just the haze. It's very difficult to think through the haze. Oh, of course, my harness. I'd like to make some more improvements to it. Perhaps add some armor plating onto it. I don't know, see if I can get my hands on like a Kinect system so that I can do motion tracking with it. I've got VR controllers, but they're very clunky. And I don't know how... I suppose it wouldn't be too hard to set up that sort of motion tracking. It's just, I don't really like how it looks. It's come quite a long way in the last decade or two. But it's still difficult to do convincingly on a budget. You know, I'd like the animation style to be kind of similar to what I'm doing here. Ooh, I suppose one way that I could do it is I could record a full motion tracking sequence where I'm just moving my hands and stuff like that around. And then every time I want the frame to change, I can click a button and add a keyframe for that. And then just like delete all of the interpolation between the keyframes. That might be a possibility. Another thing I'd like to do is move this entire scene. Right now this whole scene is in Blender, which is fine, but it's not good for very easily cycling in and out lots of assets, and maybe that's just because I'm not super comfortable with Blender yet. But I do feel like if I want to be making these with any level of consistency, I've got to have a faster workflow. And what faster workflow is there for making 3D video than just rendering it all in real time in something like a game engine? So yeah, I'd love to try creating some kind of setup like this, but in Godot, you know, so that everything is a little bit more portable, and I don't have to worry too much about cycling assets in and out. These kinds of setups, they can get very messy very quickly, and I don't really know what the best way is to manage all of that. When I'm distracted like this, when I can't think straight, I usually just gravitate towards, well, anything that lets me not think, I suppose. Anything that takes up enough of my attention that I don't have to let my mind wander. It's just the easier approach. I guess this kind of haze has happened when my mind is overwhelmed and, you know, it needs a break from all the thinking. I'm pretty bad at taking breaks from the thinking. I think a lot. It's not really possible for me to stop thinking ever. You know, even when I'm falling asleep. It keeps on babbling away. Just this constant stream of words and images and thoughts, and they get less and less coherent the closer to sleep that I get. Oh. I do have other stuff to be doing. I always have other stuff to be doing. That's a bit of the problem, isn't it? When there's too much other stuff to be doing, it becomes hard to focus on any one particular aspect of all that stuff. There's always a little nagging voice going in my head saying, hey, shouldn't you be doing that other thing? And really, no matter what happens, that voice is always there. There's nothing I can do to stop it, other than have less to do. Perhaps that's why I get distracted all the time. If I'm sitting there watching a video, or whatever, it's kind of a simulation of having less to do. I think the visuals on this one are going to be a little bit sparse. I think if I tried to animate something for everything that I'm saying here, it wouldn't be very possible. That's actually the biggest workflow problem that I've immediately run up against in the other videos that I've made is whenever I have to animate something, it just takes hours for like a few seconds of video. And I'm sure that over time I can speed up that workflow a little bit, but that also involves taking the time to work on improving the workflow, which is like its own thing. I did go into this with the idea of treating this video environment like a video game. You know, like an automation game, like Factorio or one of those, whereby I constantly make improvements to the workflow, which makes the videos themselves easier to make. But the problem with all of that, I suppose, is that, there is a problem with all of that. But I haven't found the words to articulate it yet. I've only kind of just realized now. It's gone on me again, I've lost it. But I recorded the words this time, so perhaps I'll be able to find it again.
Seeking.
Good stop. Perhaps I'll do something very psychedelic for the visuals. Perhaps I'll go into Tixel and start building a few feedback mechanisms and, you know, take my model and like throw it through the air. I could also record some B-roll of me making that. Tixel is actually quite an engaging piece of software to just watch people work away at. Because it's designed for live coding, it's designed for this sort of live performance scenario, and I've actually used it for that as well. It's very cool. Got a video coming up about that. I need to get some footage from the guy who recorded the footage. That one's gonna be exciting. Oh my gosh. Oh, do you know, that hasn't been helping, has it? I've been going to bed at 2 and waking up at 11 every single morning for the last 4 or 5 days. And part of that is because I'm ill, but yeah, it would be a lot better for me if I went to bed early and woke up early. I'm usually a lot better in terms of mental health when my bedtimes are like reasonable. And you could ask which one is the cause and which one is the effect in that regard, but I do think that having the earlier go to bed, get up, I do think that that generally is the thing that has a positive effect on my emotions. I'm not a natural early bird, but when I do get up early in the morning, it's so nice. It's so nice just being out in like the early, like pre-dawn. Only pre-dawn because it's the middle of winter at the moment. How beautiful is life? I think that'll do it for my ramblings for today. I'm still feeling quite hazy, but I've got a task in front of me now and I don't have to think to keep doing the task, so I'm just going to keep doing the task. Of course, by the time you see this, the task will be done because, well, it was making this video. So by then I'll have found something else to bother myself with. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.